Hello, kings, queens, and all in-betweens. TBH, I was a bit nervous to make this video because honestly, I'm terrified of the BL community sometimes. As a trans and queer BL/GL lover myself, I wanted to talk about an issue that is near and dear to my heart: transgender representation in BL media, specifically Thai BL, because that is primarily what I consume. I know that for many, representation is an overused buzzword due to efforts to normalize queer and trans identities. However, I'm choosing to use it because it is important to many that they see themselves represented in media. The BL industry, as many of us know, is one that is targeted towards cisgender straight women who enjoy watching cis men get together. But that doesn't mean its audience is only limited to this. Many queer and trans people find themselves gravitating towards BL as well, due to the fact that queer storylines in BL, especially Asian BL, represent them, portraying multidimensional characters and relationships that are more than just their sexual orientation. I believe that the genre is slowly and surely expanding to incorporate queer and trans individuals into its target audience, as exhibited by many recent BL series. I'd like to specifically discuss trans representation in BL because although the industry was not created for representation purposes, it is slowly becoming a more queer-friendly space, including queer and trans actors, directors, and screenwriters. I've noticed that in Thailand specifically, some of the most popular series are directed by queer and trans people. Shout out P-Off and P-Joe, and feature LGBTQ plus identifying actors and characters. In this video, I will be discussing my thoughts on trans representation in Thai BL and GL, specifically series that I've seen representation done well in, and ways I believe the industry can improve and progress in its representation. I'm no expert on this issue, but I'd like to bring this conversation to the table because this issue is important to me and many people I know and love. Throughout this video, I will be using Western terms such as transgender, queer, and non-binary, but I will do my best as a non-Thai speaker to encapsulate the nuance of the Thai language, especially pertaining to gender, and acknowledge third gender identities outside of the Western binary and understanding of gender. Long intro over, let's get into it. Disclaimer: this isn't a critique on Western media. I mean, I'm making the video so it kinda is, but there's a reason I'm a fan of Asian queer media, because I feel that BL just does queer stories better. As a queer and trans South Asian, it's important that I see media that not only represents my sexual orientation and gender identity, but culture and lived experiences. In many BL series, we've moved past the coming out stories, which are of course super important, but often overdone, and stories that are entirely focused on queer identity, and have transitioned to having queer characters with stories and lives and quirks and world building, all the things heterosexual stories are afforded. BL has transcended queer imaginations and expanded the realm of possibility and made it infinite. There are still many issues with the industry that I will not be getting into in this video. That's a whole other video. But I believe that Asian BL does queer stories better than Western media overall. While there are tons of stories out there about homosexuality and LGBT identifying people, the T is often left out. It is rare that you come across a transgender supporting character, let alone protagonist. Since the BL industry is made for straight women, only cis men are counted as viable main characters, because trans men are often not considered to be real men, which is a major issue I have with the industry, and often its target audiences. Of course, the best solution to this would be to create trans stories outside the BL genre. However, because changes in gender are not legally recognized in Thailand, this could present issues. Additionally, since the BL genre is so lucrative and popular, it would be more effective to capitalize on that and include trans characters in BL, an already existing fandom. Screenwriters can do this by including transgender supporting characters to their BL and GL stories, which is becoming more and more common. In Thailand, there's a third gender category called katoi that is often considered derogatory. It is not the same as transgender, though I've seen it translated that way, and is more commonly translated as ladyboy, which sometimes refers to gay men who dress in drag, but also to androgynous and gender-ambiguous people. Many people are beginning to reclaim the term, but it is still considered a slur to some, so I will not be using it to describe any of the actors or characters in the series I discuss. I haven't done nearly enough research on Kotoy to go into detail about its history, significance, and nuance, but I thought it important to mention the term and presence of a third gender identity in Thailand, in case anyone is interested in learning more about it. There are quite a few series I've seen where a transgender actor slash character is present in a minor role. Like, I can think of a bunch of GMM TV series where the holy trinity of trans women, Gaji, Ginny, and Golf, are present in a minor role, but significantly less where they are a supporting or main role. One of the best examples of a trans character occupying a supporting or main role I can think of is Daisy from Secret Crush on You. Now, Secret Crush on You is not the BL standard, but I think it does trans representation well. Daisy doesn't identify as a woman, instead using third gender pronouns, particles, and honorifics. The reason I love Secret Crush on You's portrayal of Daisy is because she is afforded a love interest and storyline like all of the other cis characters. Often, transgender characters are merely portrayed as caricatures or as people fawning over the main characters, but never actually receive love and recognition in return. But Daisy does. And Touch is very conscious of the way Daisy identifies themselves, switching to the pronouns, particles, and honorifics they use. An example of a trans character being a love interest is Sand, Yai's wife, in The Sign. The way Yai talks about Sand as if she's the most beautiful woman in the whole world, I'm in love with her too, and treats her as if she is everything is so beautiful to me. In The Warp Effect, which is not technically a BL or GL, but it contains MLM and WLW couples, Rose is trans. Though I believe she's portrayed by a cis actress, she is a love interest for Mark Buckin's Jedi. Another character who has a complex and developed story is May from Three Will Be Free. May's story is not simply about being trans, though it is an important part of her identity that affects her life, but is about revenge and loss as well. There are many other examples of trans representation in BL media that portray trans and third gender characters well, so let me know your favorite in the comments. While there are several Thai series where trans characters are present, I've noticed that the majority of them are found in BL, likely because of the fact that queer themes are already existent. I'm not sure how likely this is to happen anytime soon because of the lack of recognition of trans identities, especially trans masculine ones, but I would love to see more trans masc and non-binary individuals in BL and queer media. The only character that I've seen thus far in Thai queer media is Molly from The Warp Effect, a series directed by a queer person, as I mentioned. Having more LGBTQ plus directors, screenwriters, and filmmakers is a way I believe the BL industry can work towards representation and diversity of identity. Though that is definitely not their top priority, I believe it would attract queer audiences that they could capitalize on, which is likely their ultimate goal. Not to promote capitalism, but I think it would benefit queer communities. I hope to see more trans and third gender characters in BL, which is the dominant form of queer media in Thailand, and the genre I place the most faith in to incorporate these identities. I believe that the genre is headed in the right direction in that more diverse identities are being included in the series, and that BL can do even better. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. As always, I hope to hear your thoughts on this issue because I know how much it matters to so many people. Thank you. Bye.